Hello, everybody, and welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And this is If I Only Had Christmas, and it is a mess.
It's not. Okay, it's a mess.
It's a hot mess.
It's a cold mess.
It is a tepid mess.
It's a tepid mess.
So, for those of you who don't know, this was the movie that played on Sunday. I know it's Friday. Shut up. And this is... I feel like this was supposed to be one of the big ones. Because it stars Candace Cameron Bure, who has been our host for every movie we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And this was the last movie during their Thanksgiving week. Of which she was the host for the entire thing. So I kind of figured that this was going to be like the big one. And if this is the big one, we are in trouble. Because, like, it's not bad, but it's a mess. It is all over the place.
It's a little messy. Yes.
Nobody has coherent, like, plots. And it's got the worst acting we've seen so far.
Which is weird, because she's in Fuller House. How was she...
Well, Fuller House is not very good.
What?
That's right, I said it. Fight me. I didn't like Full House. What up?
But Cutie, she has actual acting talent. We've established this.
Many people do, but... So, the major plot here is a cheerful publicist teams up with a cynical business owner to help a charity in need at Christmas time. It gets more complicated than that. Now, you're going to notice that the name of the movie is If I Only Had Christmas, which kind of sounds like If I Only Had a Brain. And that's the most in-depth connection to The Wizard of Oz we're going to get here. The whole movie takes... It's not based on The Wizard of Oz, but it cribs a lot of plot points. Like it's trying to be an homage, but it's not homage-y enough.
Yeah, it's infused with...
It's infused, exactly. The way that LaCroix water tastes like peaches, this is a Wizard of Oz movie.
You don't think that, like, because so many drink it, we're just drinking it wrong? Like, you're supposed to mix it with something?
Maybe, eh? I am not a LaCroix boy, so...
There are people who drink that straight, and I don't know how they do it.
And God bless them. So, this movie stars Candace Cameron Bure, who you probably know as DJ Tanner.
100 gift baskets.
She was in Full and Fuller House. I believe she's the main character in Fuller House.
Yeah, the plot is DJ Tanner comes home and gets the gang back together, right?
I think so. I didn't watch Full House, and I didn't really watch Fuller House. So, I know one of them is going to jail because they bribed a university.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the aunts.
Yeah, alright, well, see you in prison.
Did she actually go to jail?
I believe she did. Not for very long, because she's an affluent white woman, but...
And what she committed was effectively a petty crime,
Yeah,
so...
It's still fucked up, though.
Yep.
She was also third place on Dancing with the Stars. Her brother is Kirk Cameron.
Really?
Yeah. I did not know this. Kirk Cameron, he was in, not Silver Spoons. Do you remember what the show Kirk Cameron was on?
No.
I don't remember what it was called. But he was big in, like, the late 80s, early 90s, and then he turned into a religious nut job.
He's the one where we just talk about Christmas in his car for 2 hours,
Yeah,
right?
so he does have a movie called Saving Christmas with Kirk Cameron. No, we're not reviewing it.
Not yet. Give us money.
Don't give him ideas.
Not yet. Give us money.
And that movie sucks and makes me mad. She was a co-host of The View for a couple years and had no idea. Good job. And she is Hallmark's Meryl Streep because she has been in how many Hallmark movies?
30.
22.
Dang.
Most of them in a like a murder mystery.
Nice.
I can't remember what it's called because I didn't write it down. But she has been in a lot of these movies. So she's our main character, and she's not great. Our male lead is Warren Christie, who's Canadian, you know. He was in the movie, or the television show October Road, Happy Town, Alphas, Bachelor Party 2, which is a sequel to a 27-year-old Tom Hanks movie, and is somehow playing both Batman and Hush in Batwoman the TV series.
Huh?
Yeah, I have no idea.
How?
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, Hush is a friend of Bruce Wayne, who turned into a supervillain, as they all do.
I mean, you're friends with Bruce Wayne, you go a little crazy. It's all the thing.
Somehow he is both Batman and Hush.
Well, that's a psychosis.
Yeah. Good luck with that, bro. I'm sure it'll be great. I haven't seen Batwoman. Have you?
No.
I heard the first season was shaky, but it was pretty good. But then the lead left.
What?
Ruby Rose was her name.
Sure.
And she did one season and did much care for it. And now they
retooled the whole thing?
Yeah, they recasted. I think it's a completely new character. Who's just taking up the mantle of Batwoman.
Oh.
So
we're trying this again.
I guess.
It's comic books. You could try again as many times as you like.
Yeah, pretty much. So, that is where we're at. Now on to the plot proper. Curtain up. This movie hits the Wizard of Oz theme real hard in the head, because our main character is named Darcy Gale, and her dog is named Bobo instead of Toto.
And it's very confusing on the size of this dog, because it's a big chonky dog. But then she tells it to, like, sit down and roll over, and it looks like a little baby terrier.
Yeah, somebody got a stunt dog.
And it was a terrier, and then they were just like, okay, come sit on the bed. And it turns into a Saint fucking Bernard. It does.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
It's very confusing. Or they have very bad camera work. Unclear.
So the dog wakes her up, and she's super happy because it's time for the Christmas office party. And she is so all about Christmas that she taught her dog Christmas tricks. She's like, make a snow angel, and then the dog will roll over, and that's weird.
That is weird.
Darcy is up for an award, so she's super nervous. I thought for much of this movie that she was a newspaper journalist. She's not. She works for a PR firm. So she's putting all her energy into this Christmas party. So she's baking cookies, she's doing this, and she's doing that.
Which is weird because she has a caterer.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
They even call her out on it.
They do, actually. She gets the news that she has lost the award. We flash over to our male lead, whose name is William Austin. Well,
it's Austin, isn't it?
Yeah, but...
I know.
He is the CEO of a failing company whose... this is where things get confusing. Because William Austin is played by Warren Christie, and he's our male lead. But everybody calls him... Glenn. And he is not the CEO, but he's like the FCO or something like that, the financial officer. And he's hiding...
In plain sight.
In plain sight, basically. And nobody's seen William Austin for 10 years. His father used to own the company, and he died. So this gets batted around a lot. But it's kind of strange because you don't really know he's doing it. They just kind of tell you, it's like, oh, this is William Austin. You're like, all right, I'm with it. Okay, this is Glenn. All right, I guess he's hiding.
Yeah, basically he's hiding in plain sight because he likes privacy, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, yeah. So the failing company is having an issue with its PR because nobody's seen him in years. So they hire a PR department to basically handle that for them. So he's having a rough day. All of Darcy's friends and family show up to her house for like a Christmas party. They try to help her get over her disappointment in losing the award. by like throwing herself into helping people because it's Christmas and she's just so damned nice. She has an idea to help out this one company called Emerald. Get it? And it is actually led by Austin's company. It's a charity that's run by him. And so, in order to... She's kind of doing a thing where she does a story on this charity to get up to the actual company itself. So, that's a whole thing. Or at least that's her idea, is to do the charity. She sends it up the flagpole to her boss, and the boss tells Austin's company, and they're like, no, and she's like, why? She's like, oh, you're just trying to get to you're trying to get to do all our PR, and you're just trying to get to William Austin, but we won't let you. And she's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I don't think. Just let me do the thing. She calls William Austin, but he's Glenn something or other. And he's a dick, basically. But she believes the goodness of Christmas will help her do this story. And so, in order to get her to stop talking to him, he's like, hey, why don't you come down to dinner with me here in Connecticut? I thought it was New York, but it's Connecticut. Come down to dinner and convince me face to face. If you can, we'll give you the job. So, she's off for a 3-week trip, which strikes me as too many weeks. So they meet up at the hotel bar, and they're here to meet each other, but they don't know the other person's the other person, because they've never seen each other before, and nobody's seen William Austin in years. So it's like a pleasantly awkward conversation, and Darcy talks way too much.
Yeah.
And Candace Cameron Bure plays this like a moron. Like, she just plays it like a very unintelligent person who just cannot stop talking. Like, that's her quirk, right? She rambles when she gets nervous.
Been there.
So, but she overacts the entire time. Like, just a little bit. Like, it's not crazy, but, like, every word she says has this sort of, I'm acting kind of idea, and hey, everybody, why don't we do this? And that kind of thing. So I thought maybe she was doing a Judy Garland impression?
You think so?
Oh, Addie, that kind of thing? Oh, darn it. That kind of thing, but I don't think so. I just think she's kind of a shitty actor. I know Hallmark movies aren't like where you go to really flex your acting muscles, but I'm sorry, Candace, if you're listening. I know you are. But yeah, so Darcy is talking to Glenn, but Glenn don't know it's Darcy, and Darcy don't know Glenn. Until Glenn gets a phone call that Darcy's not going to make it because her plane got snowed out. And he's like, well, that sucks. I'll talk to this lady. And talk some more about... and they talk about William Austin.
And how he's a jerk.
And then they talk about the person that Darcy's here to meet, who's Glenn, but who's also Austin. See what I mean about this movie being a mess? And Glenn's like, well, what do you think of him? And she's like, oh, he's a curmudgeon, and he's a Grinch, and he's a, this and that, basically calling him an asshole to his face. Austin gets another call, and he's like, hey, not only is she not coming, she never picked up her ticket. Like, she's just not here. And he's like, really? And then, like, puts the phone down. And it's very clearly her. Like, he's figured it out by now. So she calls his boss and is like, oh, I made it. I'm sitting in the hotel bar. And they have, like, a stare-off. And then she's like, oh, you're him. And he's like, I'm him. You're you. She's like, well, open mouth, insert foot. or whatever it is. She says something about putting her foot in her mouth. And she gets, like, super upset, and this will not be the only time. She gets up and she, like, storms out, and he's like, where the hell are you going? He goes, I don't know. To dye my hair a different color, to eat my foot, to do this and that. Why didn't you tell me? You lied to me. Ma'am, we just met. And he's like, hey, I mean, how often do you get outside information about who the kind of person you are from somebody who doesn't know they're talking to you? So he's like, all right, well, to gain your trust again, how about I take you out to dinner? And she goes, oh, no, see ya. Well, all right, thanks. The next day, Darcy goes to her new place of work, this charity. The charity was called Emerald, correct?
Yeah, it's Emerald Teaching.
Emerald Teaching, that's what I thought. And she meets our delightful trio. Jackie Crow, who is super friendly and willing to help. Dr. Bridget Tinsley, whose back is too tight to hang Christmas ornaments. And Riley Lyons, who is afraid of heights. Crow, Tinsley, and Lyons. You didn't even try. Tinsley is almost clever. You named that guy Lion. I don't know. What do you think of these homages?
It's not bad. You know what they're going for here. Like,
yeah, but is it necessary? Like, does it add anything, you think?
No, but they're labeled for your convenience.
I mean, that is true.
I mean, these movies are designed to be easy to digest. You're not supposed to be thinking like, oh, this one could represent the Tin Man. No, this one says Tinsley. It's the Tin Man.
This one's tin because she's tin.
You know? Like, you're not supposed to be... These aren't, like, highfalutin films,
Yeah,
right?
That's true. I suppose you're right. So they're a little bit apprehensive about letting Darcy into the group because they don't want to lose control of their story to somebody else. That's kind of our point of contention. They don't want to give over the narrative to somebody who doesn't have their best interest in mind. So Glenn shows up with them. And this is the first time anybody from corporate has been to this charity whatsoever. Aces. So they basically corner him to ask him questions. Like, hey, since you're here, what the fuck? How do we do anything? For God's sakes, give us some guidance. Mm-hmm. Apparently 10% of the sales of a Christmas tree farm goes to the charity, but that's not enough. So they're trying to figure out a way to make more money. And they decide to do a Christmas maze. Because I think this movie was supposed to be made in Halloween. Because what the fuck is a Christmas maze?
Apparently it's just a hallway made of lights.
True. This is where I wrote, everyone is super chipper to the point of overacting. And it's not just, I know I picked on Candace Cameron Bure earlier. It's not just her. It's everybody. Mm-hmm. It is the swishy gay lion. It is her crow friend who's just like super willing to help. Tinsley does okay because she took her Xanax earlier today and calmed the fuck down. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of this of the performances so far?
Well, they're trying to do an impression of the people of The Wizard of Oz from when was that movie aired? The
40s?
Was it the 40s?
30s,
really
or 30s or 40s?
Was it really that far back?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they're trying to do an impression of these people from the 40s in 20 while making it work with the script, and it comes off as a little weird.
Yeah. So they go to this one guy, and they're like, hey, help us set everything up. He's like, all right, well, we can do this. We'll bring in a Santa. We'll do trees. We'll do this. We'll do that. And Austin's looking at them like, we are eating through all of our budget. Mm-hmm. We need budget. And so they go to the guy who, again, I think we've seen twice now. Because he was the magic guy in Christmas House, and he was the angel tree guy.
Are we sure he's not just another large white dude?
Well, either it's three large dudes with white dudes with beards and black hair, mm-hmm. Or, like, maybe it's one of them. I'm just saying, he looks like Squirrely Dan. And they're like, hey, we don't have the money for this. And then he's like, well, I can't help you. And he's like, but Christmas isn't about making money. It's about the memories. It's about this and that. Blah, blah, blah. And the guy goes, you know what? You're right. Let's look at the budget and see where I can give you some more money. That's not how this works.
No.
That's not how any of this works.
He's got a family to feed. This is how he makes money. Like, they even kind of color out again, be like, it wouldn't cost you anything, except for the overtime that you would have to do, the extra insurance you might have to take out, the supplies, you know?
Yeah, and it's not a joke. They're listing it off, and he's like, okay. Magic of Christmas, yo.
We had to make this plot work somehow.
So they go to a big meeting between everybody and Glenn, and they talk about the charity, and Dr. Tinsley freaks the fuck out on him. She's like, we're doing the wrong thing. We're giving, like, computers to, like, low-level, schools. Everybody shut up. We're giving, like, these high-tech computers to low-income schools who don't even have Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Like, we're doing the wrong thing, and we're just doing it to look good. And Glenn's like, okay, don't like being yelled at. And they're just like, you know, we're sorry, but this is what we need to do. And we'll find this Austin guy, and we'll get him. Mm-hmm. And Austin's sitting there like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. Hope we get him. So Darcy tries to spin the story in, like, how well the Austin company does with this Emerald City place. Mm-hmm. And he kind of freaks out about it. And he's like, no, see? I knew this is what you were trying to do. You're all out to get me. You want the PR job for my actual company. But no, we gave that to another person. And I guess they're rivals. I don't know. And he goes, no, you can't do that. You can do Emerald and only Emerald. Goodbye forever. And he'll be back, but my dude's a little extra. So we go to the little lion man, who has no confidence in himself, I guess. Mm-hmm. And Darcy teaches him to dance. And that's how you get confidence. Because this is the Christmas Waltz, the movie we did last time.
Well, he had to do a big speech, and if that's how he felt confident, you know, you gotta work with what you got, you know?
I know, but it's just weird, like, you went with dance.
Yeah.
So he goes, William Austin. Apparently Glenn never got to decorate, like, for Christmas. He's kind of a Christmas curmudgeon, because he was just so rich that people did it for him. Aw, muffin. Like, this is not the first time we've had that, like, let's decorate the tree. I've never decorated a tree. Why not? That's so sad. I was always so fuck you rich and affluent, people did it for me. Aww. There's no sympathy for these people.
Well, I was either too affluent to ever decorate a tree, or I was too poor and we could never afford garland.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah. And, like, the second one is doesn't help the plot, because we need his money to get the ball rolling. So
good point. So apparently the guy they got to play Santa at the end of the maze has canceled, and they've just melted Glenn's cold heart just a little bit, so he uses his pull to get another Santa.
Not to be Santa.
He himself is not Santa. That was that other movie. He is just going to get another Santa. I thought this whole maze thing was going to be the end of the movie, but we're 40 minutes in and it's here. All right.
We have, like, you know how in some movies there's like, we got to do it before the big pageant, we got to do it before the maze is complete.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different endings to this one.
Yeah, there's more endings to this than there are to the Lord of the Rings. So she walks through the maze and she gets lost, and she meets Glenn, and they have, like, a little bonding moment because he makes fun of her for getting lost. Mm-hmm. And they even drop the lions and tigers and bears line for no reason. It's literally just like, oh, I'm lost. Yeah, I should be careful. I might find lions or tigers. And he goes, no, there's no lions or tigers. There are bears, though. That doesn't make any sense. You can't just say shit. Like, it's so, like, nakedly obvious that that's what they're doing here. It's not subtle at all. I think maybe that's my big problem with it. It's just not cleverly done at all. What do you think?
Oh, no, it's not clever about it at all, but it's not trying to be, right?
Well, I feel like it is a little bit. Like, it wants to think it's clever, but it's not.
It's Hallmark clever.
Everybody stop. Anyway. So, they get through to the end of the maze because they had to stop and ask a kid for directions. And at the end, they see a Santa Claus that surprises Darcy because Glenn got it for her as a surprise.
Woo!
So we go back to Darcy teaching the lion kid how to dance. And there's a pageant going on. Or there's a...
Christmas pageant!
Yeah, a Christmas pageant for kids. And they're like, oh, well, you know, to Lion. They're like, oh, you should dance. And he goes, oh, no, I couldn't. Unless you did it with me. And she's just like, oh, I don't dance. I'd be too nervous. And they're just like, that's literally what you're teaching him here. Fuck. All right. I guess I'll dance. Yay. And then Glenn, is like, oh, it'll be good PR for everybody if you do. So she does. And is this not the plot of Christmas Waltz?
Well, it gives him a reason to be over there while he takes this phone call, right?
I know, but it's strange. His boss shows up. Or not his boss.
Kind of his boss.
Kind of his boss, but not really his boss, because he's the CEO and she's the CFO. But she still comes at him like she's his boss. Which made me wonder, does she know he's William Austin?
Yeah.
Oh, this scene makes no sense. Because she's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are you hanging out with this lady and not our actual PR department? You should fire her and get the actual PR department. And he's like, well, I like her. I like her down-home approach, and I think she's great. And she's like, fine. You'll get yours. Did I happen to mention that her last name is West, as in Wicked Witch of the...
We didn't drive a house on anyone named East, did we?
We did not. There was an East, though. I can't remember who she was, because it was very quick. Apparently, Glenn, or Austin... I'm just gonna call him Austin from now on, because it's too confusing. He was a bad student in a low-income neighborhood, and he was adopted by his father, who owned this big-ass fancy company. And so now he wants to give back, which is why this charity is his thing. The next day, we find out, and I swear this is true, the place they are holding the charity's children recital is double booked. And they dropped the charity thing.
Yeah. That's on point.
That's a dick move.
Did you hear that, like, COVID testing was double booked for some shitty movie? And
they
dropped the COVID testing?
Yeah, it was She's All That.
But Genderbent.
Genderbent remake starring TikTok stars. I've never wanted anything less in my life.
Yeah, it was called He's All That.
Is it really? Something that simple, eh?
Yeah.
Woof. You shouldn't be filming movies now anyway.
Apparently the studio didn't know about it, and then they found out about it, and they were like, no!
Too late, idiots! They're like, hey, why don't we're doing a gala, because of course we are. Why don't we mix that with the children's recital and make it a whole family thing?
Woo!
And we can bring the kids, and it'll be great. And we'll make Christmas Eve stuff. Crow has one more idea to get Glenn's father, William, to speak, or to get, not Glenn's father, to get William Austin to speak, because they know Glenn has an in with him. Mm-hmm. This man, who nobody's seen in 10 years. And it sounds like a crazy idea, but we're going to try it anyway, because it's Christmas, and why not? So they go up to William's office, linked arm in arm, and guess what points them to his office? Why, it's a yellow line on the ground, which is close enough to a yellow brick road. Stop thinking about it. So Glenn asks, hey, what the hell is going on? And then we get, like, stopped by our Wicked Witch allegory. And she's like, oh, you have a plan. Tell it to me first. And instead of doing what you should have done, which is go, no, I don't owe you shit, and I don't work for you, they do it. So they tell her the plan, and she's like, oh, wonderful. Everybody but Darcy leave. And Glenn is like, I'm going to stay. And she goes, oh, what's higher, your position or my position? It's his position. And then he just goes, and leaves. Which again makes no sense.
No, she was just calling him out. Like, you wanna own the fact that you're CEO now, or?
Yes.
But he didn't wanna, so he left.
But yeah, well. So the Wicked Witch lady just tears into her. It's like, the only reason you're here is because you want our PR job, but we already gave it to somebody else. That's the only reason you're here, because you're awful and stupid and smell bad, and let's throw rocks at her.
Only here because you want your PR job. I am a PR person, yeah.
That is, in fact, what I do here, yes.
That's like saying you're only here to do finances as the CFO.
But, so, like, her friends are, like, kind of watching on the outside, and instead of just watching Darcy get the shit kicked out of her, they storm in and they're like, no, she's the best person we've ever met. She's so loving and caring and wonderful. You just don't understand. Come on, Darcy, we're leaving. Nothing's been accomplished. And that's it. That's the scene. We go, and the next scene is Darcy and Austin at dinner, where we learn more about them.
That's true. He's sad rich boy. Sad rich boy.
Pretty much.
And she always had to negotiate a hostage fry situation.
True. So she probes him a little bit, trying to get if he's got a family and a wife and a kid or something like that.
He fucks with her a little bit.
Yeah. There's a little bit of character fun here, but it kind of gets thrown out, and it's not very long. So we go to the recital, or like the rehearsal for the recital, where Darcy and Lion try out their dance number, but she breaks a shoe. And she's like, well, guess I can't do it. Oh, well. And Austin's like, I'll get you some shoes. What's your size? I think it was 7. He goes, all right, excuse me for a second. And he slinks away, and she's like, oh, God, I need shoes. Buy shoes and give it to her doorman. So she gets the gift from the doorman, and she gets these shoes, and I'll bet you can't guess what color they are. Green. She got them emerald slipper. No, she got ruby slippers. I mean, they're not really slippers. They're shoes. But
dance shoes.
The ruby slippers in Wizard of Oz weren't slippers either. They were shoes.
That's true. Well, slipper seems to imply some sort of heeled shoe. Because,
like slip on?
Yeah, because like a glass slipper, remember?
From Cinderella,
is a heeled shoe. And Dorothy's slipper was also the same style.
You know, I never thought about that. I just like, I see slippers, and I think like those fluffy things you wear before bed.
Yeah.
But I guess that just would mean a slip-on shoe.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Because you don't put on socks and then put on those shoes.
You're right. So, yeah, she gets ruby slippers. They go and go for their little dance-off. It goes well. He's not nervous. All the kids applaud. They couldn't get William Austin to speak. But Darcy goes up to Glenn, and he's like, hey, you should speak. You know William Austin. And he's like, hey, yeah, I guess.
I do technically know him, yes.
So he gives a speech, and he calls out all of Darcy's friends for being the reason everything is going so well, and saying, hey, Darcy, you're amazing. From now on, your firm is going to take care of all of our PR needs in my company and in this place. And Darcy's like, you can't do that. They're going to fire you. And he's like, no, they're not. Watch this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I am William Austin. Like the end scene from Iron Man. And Darcy don't take this well. She storms out after the speech and does a very convincing smiling while crying face. I will give that to Candace Cameron. And Austin, or William, runs up to him. And she's like, hey, are you okay? And she doesn't speak. And she goes, Darcy, say something. And she turns and she goes, I am upset. On brand. Thank you very much. Can't get much clearer than that.
Well, she gets gold star for communication.
True. So Darcy is so upset to the point where she shirks all the work that he just gave her to a different, like, same company, but a different sect of it. I don't think you can do that.
No, once it's yours, it's yours.
But I guess she can.
Guess she got some clout.
Yeah, the very next scene, Darcy's back at home. That was easy. All her friends show up this time for Christmas Eve, which is an exact repeat of the scene from early on in the movie, just again.
Yeah, apparently she can count down with some fair precision about when her family will be showing up at her house.
That was kind of cute.
Yeah.
So... yeah, Darcy talks to her mom, and her mom is like, I don't understand why you're so sad. That seemed to go pretty well. And she said, Darcy says, if I had known who he really was this whole time, do you think I would really... I just can't believe I fell for that. Mom says, fell for that? Or him?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
come on, it's a Hallmark movie. This is what you expect. So
I know, that's cheating for a Hallmark movie. Damn, bro. William talks to his boss, who is apparently okay with everything that just went down.
Well, she doesn't have to live a lie anymore, so.
Yeah, so this is why it's so confusing. She has been a bitch this entire movie. Like, she has been our antagonist. The second Darcy leaves, flip, 180 heel face turn.
Well, the magic of Christmas has softened her heart.
I guess, but like the big show doesn't turn as suddenly as she did.
And suddenly her heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Basically. And she's like, that Darcy did great. I'm glad we picked her. You were right to hire her instead of the person I hired. And he's like, well, that's all well and good, but Darcy won't be doing the PR stuff. Her firm will, but Darcy won't. And she's like, what? That's ridiculous. You done fucked up. Go apologize to her. I'm giving you permission to. Go, man, go. And he goes, what? I will. And she stands there and goes, go. Fly. Fly. It's so stuffed in there.
And no point we throw a glass of water in her face to tell her.
I thought that was coming. Like, during the angry, like, shout down, I thought Darcy was going to take some water and splash it into her face and then run. But that would have been a fun movie. He arrives at her house. I don't know that she ever told him where she lived exactly. She said Kentucky, which is where she lives. But, like, she goes outside and he's just standing there on the porch. Hello.
Well, he's a rich billionaire philanthropist. He knows where she works.
I guess. Damn, bruh.
Rich people are crazy, so... Also, he knows where she works, and they probably have her address on file.
Getting weird.
And for reasons, they gave it to him.
Getting stalky.
Getting stalky?
Yeah, you're right. So he kind of walks up. He's like, hey, I wanted to apologize for being a jerk and not telling you about stuff. She goes, but it's Christmas Eve. And he goes, I know. I thought it'd be romantic. And she's like, I know, it is. But, like, I have so many people coming, and, like, they're going to be here really, really soon, so you have to leave. He goes, oh, no, I'd like to meet your family. He goes, yeah, that's great. I don't want you to meet them. So if you could please leave in before. And then all of her family shows up, and she's like, oh, good.
And they're like, you must be Glenn. I am Glenn. Welcome to the family. Would you like to stay forever?
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, no.
So he's stuck. Not stuck. He gets to celebrate Christmas Eve with them. Afterwards, he gives her the idea to take the job again, to which she refuses, because that would involve her having to move, and she is not going to move from Kentucky. This is strange, because she's talked about Kentucky and how much she likes it, not to the point of just never moving. Like, this is weirdly out of nowhere. And he goes, well, we are looking to open up a second office somewhere, and for some reason I kept thinking Kentucky. Well, ain't that convenient. And he's like, you know what else we need? So I just left my position because I'm taking care of my CEO job now. I'm doing my actual job, and I need somebody to take over my fake job. What do you think? And she's like, no, I'm not leaving Kentucky. So I'm going to be here in Kentucky, for God's sakes. And she's like, well, I guess I'll take that. And she goes, because, and she's like, is that because home is where your heart is? And she goes, no, it's because there's no place like home. That it hasn't been brought up yet. You can't just throw this stuff in. Anyway, the charity hits record sales. William comes out about who he really is and is no longer afraid of his father's legacy. I have written down here, Candace. Darcy and William get together. Everyone is happy. Curtain down. A mess. From beginning to end, this movie's a mess. It's like somebody stood 10 feet away with Wizard of Oz moments and just threw it at the script and went, you do it! What do you think?
Well, they're not subtle about it, but I really don't think they're trying to be, right? Because I think they were pitching it as look, it's Wizard of Oz, but Christmas, right? And how do you hybridize those two things?
It's not hard.
Is it?
No.
Is it not this?
It's not this.
How is it? What would you do? Tell me your thoughts.
You would have to play up the Christmassy part of it a little bit more. Instead of doing, you have to make it more obvious, I would think, because this, like I said, this is very much thrown in for the sake of it. You need to have this is an obvious go from point A to point B. Hell, make Oz the North Pole. Go crazy with it. If you want to turn it into the corporate world. Again, it's not impossible, but it's not. This felt very lazy and very cheap. So it's like somebody wrote a script and went, "Hey, this kind of resembles The Wizard of Oz a little bit. Make it a little bit more obvious." So it's a crow. The thing is a yellow strip. That's basically a brick road. We'll make him William Oz. 10. That's good. Her name is Darcy. Can't do Dorothy. Well, last name Gale. That's close enough. Stuff like that. It's like somebody Control F, find and replace with Wizard of Oz stuff. But it's not good. It's really not. It's not a terrible movie. Obviously, we've had way worse. But it's very sloppy, and it's very all over the place. And like I said, worst acting in the series so far. This is the 26th movie we've done?
Yeah.
Whew, wow. And it's not, underacted. It is overacted every single bit, which can sometimes be worse.
But sometimes can be hilarious. Remember that time Shawn Michaels fell down to fall back up to fall back up?
I know, and he's amazing, but he's also not an actor. Well, he's trying to be. Don't watch his movies. He's not an actor. He's a wrestler, and he was getting back at somebody. But when everybody in a movie talks like this, the whole entire time, it really starts to grate on you. But I guess I prefer that to everybody always talking like this, trying to act, but they can't because acting is hard. So, I don't know. What would you give it?
Let's see here. Set design was mediocre.
Yeah, set design was even great.
Like, you didn't have the requisite 12 trees per shot.
And nothing looked like Wizard of Oz.
I mean, you had...
Like, aesthetically, visually.
That's true. She didn't wear the dress or nothing.
Yeah.
She didn't...
You had the slippers. Come on, now.
Which, based on the previews, it appears Cameron Candace Bure there stole from the set.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And apparently she loves this story, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I too love the stories that pay me.
No, but she did like The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so question.
What?
Do you remember anything from this movie? We watched it last night.
Okay, what do I remember? I remember there was a lady named Tinsley, and lions and crow.
Okay, case in point. We just went over it.
Yeah.
And you didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
And that's no fault of your own, but there's just nothing memorable about this movie, is there?
No.
There we are. See, that's why I write down the plot. I dropped my phone. I write down the plot point for point so we can remember this, because sometimes it all starts to blur together.
No, but, like, it's not, like, terrible. You didn't make out with your in-laws at your wedding Christmas party.
Give it another 20 minutes. Who knows? They might have. So what do you think? Out of 10, what are you stacking on here?
Let's see. Set design was okay. Script could use some work. But it was still pretty fun. So, feeling like a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
I was feeling a 4.
Yeah.
So 4.5. That sounds about right. But yeah, this one... this one, it's not the best. But we press on. There are only, as of this week, tomorrow Saturday, there are only 3 weeks left.
Till Christmas?
Well, yes, technically.
Till Christmas!
There are 16 movies, 4 weeks, or 3 weeks. Or 12 movies, excuse me. Oh, God. It's all starting to run together. So, our next one, which will be on Saturday, December 5th, is Christmas in Evergreen, Bells Are Ringing, starring Yo Girl, Holly Robinson Pete. We also do Christmas, She Wrote.
Which is not a Murder, She Wrote spinoff, which makes me angry.
Which should be. Those are going to be our movies for Saturday and Sunday. You guys know how we do it. We'll do a live stream on Sunday. We'll do a live stream on Tuesday. We'll do regular podcasts for Saturday and Monday. Because that's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
But I think that's all for this one. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think so, too.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. That's about where we're going to put it. So, if you want to find us anywhere on the internet, you can find me on Twitter at Empty Square, EMPTY. Oh God, I can't remember how to spell. EMPTYSQUARE. Bleh. Cutes, where you at?
I'm at Aquadia_. The thing's in the doobly-doo.
The thing is in the doobly-doo, that's true. And if you are so inclined, you want to kick us a couple bucks because you just like us so damn much and the spirit of giving has gripped your heart, you can go to patreon.com/emptysquare, spelled the same way I did before, only correctly, EMPTYSQUARE, and you can kick us any amount of money from $1 to $100. The more you give, the more you get. That's a Michael Bublé song. You're welcome. The more you give, the more you get, up to and including just giving us a movie to watch. We'll watch whatever you want.
Wizard of Oz? Done.
Oh,
Done.
absolutely.
Citizen Kane? That too.
Totally. That's it.
That new Grinch musical, do that too.
We're gonna do that one. So there is. Prepare for what may be a special episode on Wednesday. Because there's a Grinch musical coming out.
Starring the Glee teacher.
And you know I gotta see it. I gotta. It's gonna hurt.
Tell them why you gotta see it, Kiki.
I can't tell you. You have to see. Matthew Morrison is in Grinch makeup. We'll tell you more Wednesday, but fuck a duck. Anyway, Keith, should they watch The Thing?
I mean, you like The Wizard of Oz? Sure.
Actually, if you like The Wizard of Oz, no. Go watch The Wizard of Oz. It's so much better. Watch the Scrubs episode, My Way Home. That'd be great. Anywho, thank you very much for watching. If you can't chip any money and you still want to help us out, all you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. That would help us out immensely. We're still trying to get to 100 subscribers before Christmas, and it's coming up soon. So give us a hand. That would be great.
Yeah.
But until then, we will see you Saturday night for a brand new movie. Yeah. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.